Hey everyone, this is Amy from the home office, and I'm here today at Forever Nutraceutical. And we're so excited to take a tour, get to know some of the people that work here, and just see what happens behind the scenes. So let's go through the doors. We're going to meet Dion Mosley, who is our quality supervisor at Forever Nutraceutical, and he's going to take us to meet some people and talk about what happens here and get to see some of our favorite products in production. So here we go. Here's Forever Nutraceutical. Hi, Yvette.
Hi.
All right, guys, this is Dion Mosley.
How you doing?
He's going to take us on a tour, so let's go ahead and head on back.
Okay, well, we're going to walk through the office area first. Glad to have you here forever. We're going to give a tour of our manufacturing process with various products that we actually manufacture, as far as powders, soft gels, and tablets.
Cool.
Here we have our regulations department. We have this gentleman here. This is Lonnie. He's in charge of all safety and a lot of other things. So say hi, Lonnie.
Hi.
And that's Susan.
Hi, everyone.
And that's Jennifer over there.
Hi.
They're also part of the quality team.
All right, guys, so if you're just joining us now, we're walking through the halls of Forever Nutraceutical with quality supervisor Dion Mosley. We're just gonna take a little stop right here.
Yes.
Say hi to everyone back there working hard on our products. So if you've ever walked the halls of Forever Nutraceutical, you'll see things like all of our products in production, get to meet the people that are behind the regulatory, approving our products.
And this is where all the brainstorming happens, right here in the conference room.
Love it.
It's empty now. That means we've done our due diligence for today. Okay, now right here, this is our quality docs department here. Come in. We have Janet and we have Paige.
Hi.
How long have you been with us, Janet?
5 years.
And Paige is newly recruited. She's been here almost a year. Glad to have her.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Nice meeting you.
Okay, now where we're going to go next is we're going to go into the lab. In our lab, we test all raw materials. All raw materials, we test all in-process product and finished products. I'm going to pass you to Chris, and he's going to go through some of the testing that we actually do for our products in the laboratory. Chris,
Awesome.
this is Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Say
Chris.
hello to all of the people that are watching from home.
Hey, people from home. So yeah, my name is Chris Altamirano. I'm actually the stability coordinator here and one of the chemists. What we do in the lab here, it's a quality control lab. We run over 300 different tests here, ranging from instrumentation tests to wet chemistry tests, to a lot of other basic tests that we do. So I'll walk you through some of them. If you follow me, one of the first tests we do, out of the many 300 to identify our products, is our disintegration test. What you're seeing here is actually our Naturemin tablets being tested for kind of how fast they dissolve in solution. So inside those beakers, it's just pure, clean water, and if you touch it, if you kind of want to focus in, it's just set to body temperature, which is 37 degrees. So there's no acids, there's no enzymes. What we're just testing to make sure is that the tablets will dissolve freely so that we can absorb the nutrients in a better way.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the next thing I'll show you, part of what we do, so that's a simple one. Part of what we do is identify heavy metals and minerals. So what you're seeing here is something that you might see at your house, right? It almost looks like a microwave. The reason for that is because it is a microwave. It's a very powerful microwave, and it does more than just pop. What it does is helps digest our samples and acid and other treatments that we do to it in order to break it down so that we can readily read the samples for heavy metals and minerals.
Cool.
So as it's spinning, it's slowly digesting, and within about 10 minutes or so they'll be done. We let them cool, we finish processing them, and then I'll show you kind of the rest of the process in a minute.
Awesome.
So over here we have one of our chemists, Christian. Hello. He's testing, or he's actually prepping some stuff for UPLC, which is he's working on our vitalized men's. And some of it, and I think other RG as well. That's women's. Alright, so we're doing vitalized men's and women's here. So if you want to follow me, it's a little loud, so I'm going to project my voice a little bit. So for those of you at Facebook, right now it's usually a little bit cooler in here. The reason for that is because both these instruments get awfully hot. The ICP here actually is the one I was mentioning that tests the heavy metals and mineral content.
It gets up to what, about 5,000
Now 5,000, yeah, Kelvin, which is extremely hot, right?
Wow.
And by doing that, we're actually ripping apart all those ions and heavy metals and testing them based on ion and mass. So we get a pretty good fingerprint of what we have in our samples. Now the things that we don't want in our samples are heavy metals, right? That includes mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, all the bad ones that you hear about. We don't want that in our samples, so we test our products at the raw materials, in process, and finished products. Also though, on top of it, we want to make sure that the stuff that we're adding into our products, such as potassium, calcium, magnesium, all the good ones, we want to make sure that we're adding them at the right concentration. So all these empty tubes here and half-filled tubes are samples that we have digested through the microwave digester and a lot of other processing, so the instrument can read it readily. The instrument right behind you is our UPLC instrument, a little smaller, but that's the one that Christian was working on prepping those vitalized men's and women's things. This one tests for vitamin content, so everything from vitamin C, all the B vitamins, which is B1, B2, B12, and vitamin D and E. So it's very important in detecting the concentration at which we're adding our raw materials into our products.
Fantastic.
Any questions?
None so far.
All right. Follow me.
All right, guys, if you have any questions while you're following along with this for Dion or Chris here, he'll tell you everything you want to know about the quality control that happens here at Forever Nutraceutical.
All right. And just real quick, like alongside with the heavy instrumentation, we also do our basic pH meter stuff, right? So we want to make sure that our products are at the appropriate pH so that those vitamins and minerals can be readily absorbed. So they're in a good range.
Let's take a deep dive here.
Yeah, kind of. So all of our instrumentation goes through annual calibrations, verifications, and daily verifications and calibrations too. So we want to make sure that everything's working optimally before we even start testing. All right. So I'll take you past one other instrument, a much smaller one. It runs through the computer lobby here. This instrument here is our FTIR. The IR stands for infrared. What this does is basically shines a infrared beam up through this little lens here. The infrared beam then interacts with whatever sample we sandwich in between here, and it gives us kind of a fingerprint, or kind of a profile of what that chemical or that material is. Everything that comes through the lab, raw materials and processed finished products, gets this test first for the most part, and that's because it's a quick identification to make sure that we're adding in the raw materials that our suppliers are giving us, and making sure that our finished products are measurable or comparable to standards that we've produced. So the graphs that you see here, you'll see a bunch of peaks and valleys. The red line here is an example sample of royal jelly, right? One of our tablets that we have. The green line here is actually one of our standards that we have for that recipe of royal jelly. So, as I said, we do finished products here, so we'll literally crack open every single lot that comes through here. We'll crack open a bottle, crush it up, and then run it on the IR to make sure that it's still compared to a known standard that we have. So if you see, red line and the green line match up pretty darn close. But we don't just rely solely on what it looks like. There is an algorithm in the instrument that will tell us how close it is compared to. So everything that comes through here, again, raw materials included and finished products, has to be 90% or greater, right? So if you want to zoom in here, if you guys can see, this particular match is a 98.87. So pretty darn close. This isn't the only identification test that we do, but after so many tests, we'll release it and we'll be good to go.
Cool.
So any questions?
Not so much. Everyone is so excited to see Forever. We love you. We love the products.
That's great.
Happy to see this from Norway.
All
We've got
right.
someone from Kenya.
That's great.
Thank you so much for showing us all of this.
I want to introduce you to another key individual here. This is Oscar Rivera, and he's in charge of all quality on the floor.
Hello, Oscar.
Hey,
That we
Forever guys.
put out a quality product 24/7.
Hope you
Wonderful.
guys enjoy it.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for stopping by the lab. Enjoy the rest of your tour.
Thank you.
All right.
Now we're going to start with our soft gels process. We're going to start at the end because of how our line is set up and how our tour hallway is set up. But we're going to go through each and every individual step of how we manufacture a soft gel. We can go back out into the hallway.
Alright guys, so we're walking through Forever Nutraceutical right now. We are in Phoenix, Arizona. If you haven't made your way to Arizona to visit everyone at the home office or take a tour, then you have to get out here because this is where the heart of all the products are. As Dion said, we're just about to see all the soft gels in production, so stay tuned.
Forever Nutraceutical, this plant itself makes about 50 products, tablets, soft gels, and powders. Here we're going to show you part of our inspection process. Now, we have a bigger inspection room behind these walls where we can't see, but this is one of our primary processes here. What's happening here is once the trays come out of the drying tunnels, they are 100% inspected. Once they are 100% inspected, then it goes through this. This is a polisher, and what this does is it polishes the excess mineral oil off of the soft gel. We use mineral oil to make sure that the soft gels don't stick because they're more of a gummy soft phase when they're actually manufactured. Now keep in mind, this is one of the end processes of our soft gel manufacturing. What happens after this is it gets weighed and it gets bulk packaged and staged for packaging in the other side of the building.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right everyone?
Now, before this phase, we size our soft gels. We take out the soft gels that's too small, and we take out the soft gels that's too large. We have a specification for what size soft gel is required for our product, and we discard that as waste. Once that's done, it comes to this stage here. Now we're going to backtrack and show you how we create the gelatin of a soft gel. The gelatin is the outside shell of the soft gel. What we have here is this is our gelatin process. This is how we make the gel. This is how we make the gel. That is Steve. What we have, yes, he's going to show you how our gelatin comes in. It comes in like large granules. We have fish gelatin and we have bone gelatin. We use those two types of gelatin. Now what we do with that gelatin is we take that gelatin and we mix it with other raw materials. We have two 600-kilo melters. And what we do is we add that gelatin, and they're both sitting on scales. So we measure by weight, and we go by a batch record. The batch record tells us exactly how much of each raw material we need to put in to making this gelatin. Once we put it in the melters, and it melts it down into more of a like molasses syrup type liquid, it's actually discharged into these two 300-kilo receivers. Now for some of our soft gel products, we have to color it, like our Garcinia and our garlic thyme. Now what this machine does is we add a couple extra ingredients to the gelatin, and it would actually color the soft gel, the gelatin, the same color as the fill. Here. Now those receivers are temperature controlled. What Steve has is a batch record. That batch record, like I stated just a minute ago, it tells him exactly what we need to put into manufacturing this product, from weights all the way down to time, mixing times, and everything else. So that is like the recipe book for manufacturing the gelatin.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay,
Thanks, Steve. All right, we have people from Finland, Norway. Oh, love seeing everyone here. The Netherlands, California. Hello from India.
Hello.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
This is where we manufacture our fill. This is the most important part of the soft gel. This is the inside of the soft gel. What they're doing over there is they're adding the color to the fill, and that is a dehomogenizer, and what that does is it vacuums all of the air out of the fill, so we don't have air bubbles and low weights in our soft gels when we actually encap them in the next phase. So what they do, everyone follows the same process. We have a recipe for each individual step that we actually take to manufacture whatever product we are making.
Awesome.
So you will see these batch records in each and every room.
Alright guys, if you missed that earlier, this is Forever Nutraceutical, where all of the products here, there's about 50 different nutritional tablets and soft gels and protein powder, things like that that are created here at Forever Nutraceutical. And these batch records are actually kind of like recipes, and this is what they have to follow to a T to make sure that they are creating these products in the best quality that they can for you.
Okay, now over here, this is our encapsulation process. Now, if you just take a look at the machine for a minute, we have the receivers. One receiver is filled with fill, and the other receiver is filled with medicine. What happens is, if you can see the hoses that are pumped up into the sides, the darker color, that's the actual gelatin. And the hose is going up to the top, that's a hopper. That's where our fill is actually discharged down into the lines, into the wedge, to actually inject each soft gel with the fill. So you will be able to get a better look over here of how it's ran. We have both ribbons coming up. When the gelatin is actually pumped into the hose, it's still in a liquid form. But what we have cooling drums, which cools down the gelatin into more of a congealing type texture, more of a gummy bear type texture. And these soft gels are, right now, they're very soft.
So if you can recognize that, that is one of our favorite products, A-Beta Care.
Yes, they're soft, and what happens after that is it goes through 7 phases of drying. We have 7 drying tunnels. And each one is about 7 minutes. You may see towels in the drying tunnels, but what that does is it helps with the drying process, but it also helps the operator know if we have leakers, which we very rarely does. What she's doing right here is she's actually taking soft gels, cutting them open, and verifying that the fill weight is where it's supposed to be. They do that every hour. If we have issues, we would do it every 15 minutes. Once that step is done, you can see the 2 ladies at the end. What they're doing, they're actually pulling the soft gels out of the drying tunnels, and they're spreading them on a tray. We use mineral oil to keep the soft gels from sticking to each other. They spread them on a tray, and they try to keep them as separate as possible, because when they're in the soft stage, they're very vulnerable to cosmetic defects as far as the shapes and marks on the soft gels themselves. So we try to keep them as separate as possible. All of those doors you see back there, those are drying tunnels. On the other side of that wall is our inspection department. What inspection does is they go in and they measure the hardness of the soft gels, and when the hardness reaches specification, it's pulled out, it's inspected, and then it goes into that room to be polished and bulk packaged and staged for packaging on the other side of the building.
Awesome. So if you're just joining us now, this is what it takes to make our products awesome for you. All these people right now, they're working on, it looks like A-Beta Care. They're getting these soft gels ready to be packaged, inspected, made sure that they are quality to be sent to you.
And as you can see, we have 2 lines. This line is ready to be used, but we manufacture so many products that we have to wait until one of our products reach its drying level before we can actually take it out of the drying tunnels to actually start manufacturing more product. We have a high demand, so these departments run sometimes 6 days a week to meet the demand. This is the only facility that manufactures the soft gel,
Okay.
the tablets, and the powder product.
All right, so here we are going right through Forever Nutraceutical.
Now we're going to our powders department. We just finished some construction in this department. This used to be 2 big rooms, but now we've broken it down into 3 rooms because we have 3 different pieces of equipment that does 3 different things. This is our pouching department. We went from cans to pouches. Now this machine is pretty much does most of the work. It actually, you just stage the pouches, it opens it up. What we have here is we have a screening process. And they're screening to make sure that there's no foreign materials. This is just a precaution only. They're screening to make sure that there's no foreign materials getting into the product. On the other side of this wall, what we have an 1,800 kilo blender that actually blends all of these different protein powder products. Once that's done, it gets staged into the blue drums. Once it's staged into the blue drums, and quality in the lab approves it for use, because everything gets tested. Our end process gets tested. So once those are mixed and manufactured and blended, we take a sample to the lab. The lab will test it, and that's where you saw the IR and the IPC machine. They test to make sure the product is what we said it is. Once that's done, it comes back here and it gets approved by quality. It comes back here and they can actually start manufacturing. This machine actually opens up the bag, fills the bag, adds the scoop, and seal it. Now what you see, what they're doing right now is they're putting this on a cart. This is not our normal process. We're just waiting for more equipment, because the next two rooms outside of this one, I will show you, all of these rooms will be automated.
Got it.
They will have conveyor systems going into one room where they package all of these products in one room. We just finished the construction. This machine's been here about a year.
So I don't know if you guys can see this machine. I know the glare is a little bit terrible with the bright Arizona sunshine outside. But this machine is actually putting in all of the protein powder into its packets. And some guys over there, they're testing to make sure that all the protein powder is ready to be packaged. This is an amazing machine, much like a lot of the machinery that is here at our facility at Forever Nutraceutical, as well as at Ava. We have state-of-the-art machinery that helps to create the best products they can for you. Awesome. So we're gonna keep on going.
And this department, this is one of our newest departments here. You can just step over here and you can see this machine. This is our stick pack machine. This machine puts out about 3,000 stick packs an hour. And this is also part of our new construction. This room will also be fully automated with the conveyor and belt system, where it will go up into another room for packaging. But until then, what we have to do is we have to manually package all our stick packs. Okay, now what they're doing is they're just testing them to make sure that the lock codes and everything is accurate. What happens here is they stage the bags here, they seal them, and once they seal the bags, then they go on a check with it to make sure that the weights are within specification. Once the weights are within specification, then they will package them and place them in the warehouse so we can take them next door to be shipped.
Yeah, so if you guys are tuning in now, this is RG Plus in production. I'm gonna kind of say that this is like the Willy Wonka chocolate factory
Yes.
of Forever, and say this is probably the coolest thing that I've seen in a while. This machine right here is packaging all of the stick packs that'll go into these bags and then head out to be shipped to you.
And we're also going to start doing fiber on this machine. We brought this machine in-house to bring down the cost of the product for our FBOs and our customers.
All right, so we're gonna keep on moving.
Now, this room is not set up, it's just been cleared out, but this is where we will have our blister packing, like our Clean Eye. We will have a machine in here that will actually package our Clean Eye. So that's what this machine is for. That machine should be here towards the end of the year, and it should be up and running by the first of the year, by the beginning of the year.
Okay, so you guys heard it. You saw the new RG Plus machine. We have a new Clean 9 system that's coming in. Lots of awesome, exciting things happening here at Forever Nutraceutical. Now it's about to get loud. We are going to go through
Our South Warehouse. This is where we stage a lot of our in-process products. Now what you see here is various products. You may see different color labels on the drums because that represents the country. Now if you come close to one of these labels here, when this label is generated, it's generated with a quality hold. That quality hold is lifted once the lab tests this product and once quality pull a sample. Once everything comes back fine, then quality will come in and then they will release the product to be manufactured. So this is also a staging area for our packaging components for our powder department. We also have some things ready to go. It has to just be taken across to our North Warehouse. Our North Warehouse is where the trucks come and dock and actually load the trucks up over at the North Warehouse.
Alright, so EU, you'll be seeing this Forever Light Ultra soon.
Yes. And we have some raw materials. Some of the raw materials for powders and some of the raw materials are for our soft gels process. We use this as a staging area for our raw materials also. We make sure that everything in the warehouse is actually sealed so it don't get any type of contamination or any kind of foreign materials in it. Now, this is where all of our packaging will happen for those 3 lines that I just explained to you. We only have one set up, but we're gonna have it where all 3 lines are actually packaging in this room. Now we're gonna go across the courtyard, and we're gonna go into the North Warehouse, and then I will describe our solid dose side of things, our tablet way up, our tablet blending, and then we will end with our soft gel and tablet packaging. Just go out this door.
Alright, so we're headed out. We are going over to the North Warehouse, where a lot more stuff happens. Thanks for joining. Let's see, we have lots of people from lots of places all over the world tuning in right now. Let's see, hello from Malaysia.
Oh.
So good to see you guys on here. Hello from Switzerland. All right, so we got a question. Yes, we are in the USA. We are in Phoenix, Arizona at Forever Nutraceutical, where we have over 50 products in production here. Hello.
That's Mike. This is our warehouse manager.
Hi.
He makes sure everything gets out of here as quickly as possible.
I do.
Awesome. Let's dive in.
Now, this warehouse, you may see some in-process materials, and it's solely due to space. But you also see a lot of shippers and things ready to go. You see some Therm, you see A Beta, you see Colin. Everything that you see over there is staged and waiting for a truck to actually come pick it up and take it out of here. Now, we're going to start with our final process for our tablet packaging department. This is where we package all of our auto products, our soft gels and our tablets. We have this department over here. We just take a look over here. Our packaging process for our tablet and our soft gel bottling process is fully automated. What that robot does is it actually picks up the bottles once it has the required amount. It picks up the bottles and layers the boxes and then pushes it through. The gentleman here, he actually adds additional labels and expiration dates for everything to the shipper. Once that's done, it goes around and this robot will place and palletize all the products. You see 2 conveying systems. That means we can run 2 different products at the same time. We have 2 different pallets set up for 2 different products. Once that pallet is full, it will be ejected out to the other side. It will be shrink wrapped, and then we will grab the forklift and take it into the warehouse. This is where it will be ejected out here, and then it will be shrink wrapped. It will go into these rollers, and then he will come with a forklift and remove that pallet and place it into the warehouse. As you can see, the bottles are actually coming from our tablet packaging department on the conveyor system, and it comes down. That's how it picks up the bottles, go back and stuff. then it ejects it out, it takes the box, and that's when you pull it off. It has the expiration date and the lot number, and then this is how we actually sanitize the shipping box. Folks, that was an up close and personal display of our robotic arms and how we actually package our bottling, how we package our bottled products. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a brief tour through this warehouse, and I will explain how our raw materials actually come in. You get an idea of what our raw materials look like. We have two warehouses. We have a warehouse across the street, and that warehouse is where we stage everything that hasn't been released, that hasn't been tested. We test everything from our raw materials to our packaging components to make sure that the bottles and the caps actually fit together. Here's an example of some of our raw materials, how our raw materials come in. This is the staging process for our solid dose packaging products. This is for calcium, therm, immublend, Nutraceutical. All of these raw materials for those tableting products. What happens is this raw material comes in. What we used to do is we used to add an orange quarantine label. That is our own label with our own lot number. What we have here is we have this blue label. That blue label represents our QA, QI team pulling samples and actually having the samples tested before we even accept the product in. Because we do not want to accept the product in if the product is not good. That way we can just send it right back. Once that's done and it's approved, then our quality team will come and they will release it to let production know that it's okay to use. Now they do all of that across the street. We do not allow anything over here that's not released because we do not want to make any mistakes with cross-contaminating unreleased product with released product. Even though we don't make mistakes like that, I'm just saying it's a safety precaution. But what we've transitioned to is more of a barcode. It helps us with our inventory, and with our inventory that helps bring down the price because we can have a tighter count as far as our inventory level. So what you will see here is you will see just various raw materials.
So if you're tuning in now, we are touring the Forever Nutraceutical warehouse where all of the raw materials are stored. These have all been checked. They've been quality tested before they are even put into this facility so that you can get quality products and they can make sure that they're doing everything to their best ability. So we're heading on back. Dion, what are we going to see next?
What are we going to see next? We're going to see our weigh up and blending process for our solid dose products like calcium, Nutraceutical, women's. What they're doing now is they're actually setting up and weighing out the raw materials. What they're doing here is they're actually weighing out the raw materials. Once they weigh out the raw materials, they label the drums. Once again, as you can see, we always have our batch records here because that's like our recipe. That's our recipe for time, that's our recipe for process, and our recipe for exactly how much of each raw material goes into the product. And we do that by weight. We have various scales where we can get down to the smallest amount as far as weight. Once all of that is done, samples are taken to the lab to make sure that what's in it is what we say is in it. After that, what we have here is we have our V blender. Now this blender is slightly different and it has a very peculiar shape. And the reason it's shaped like that is because what it does is it separates and combines. That's how it mixes the product. But we have to be very careful with this one because if we let it mix too long, it will start to dehomogenize. So we use this shape to give us more of a homogenized blend. So it's very time sensitive, and they have to be very, very attentive when they are actually blending the products here. And that's Mario over there. He does a pretty good job. He's been here for about 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, so some of the people that we've met today have been with Forever for years, and you know what? That just proves that everywhere you go around the world, people love Forever, whether you're in the warehouse, whether they're making the products every day. There's a passion that runs deep here.
It's like a one big happy family. I promise you. This is just one of our storage areas for our products that's actually been mixed, and samples have been sent to the lab, and we're waiting on the results to come back. Once the results come back, it's okay to compress. What you see in the blue drums are waiting on compression. What's in the white buckets are waiting on packaging. But everything has to go through the lab to make sure that it's tested so we can proceed to the next level, to the next phase. This is also part of our web and blending area. This is our granulation area right here. Now this is where we do a lot of our bee products. What they do is they just take raw bee pollen and they introduce honey to it. What we have there is that's John Cerner. What we have there is we have 125 kilo buffalo mixer. What you will see them do on a normal, on a day-to-day basis is actually introduce honey to the product. They will blend it up. Once they blend it up, they spread them on the trays. Once they spread them on the trays and enter them into the stacks, we put them into the drying tunnels. Those drying tunnels are similar to the ones in soft gels, except those are heat control. Quality would then come in and pull a moisture sample. Moisture has to be for a good compression. So once the moisture gets into that range, then they will pull it out and they will actually dump the product into these blue drums. Now when they dump it into these blue drums, it's all clumpy and everything like that because honey was introduced to it. So what we would do then is we will send it through a mill, and that mill will actually regranulate it back down to that fine powder. But the honey is still in it, and it gives it's a great additive for compression for our bee products. So we do Gentian, we do Absorbent C, Fields of Green. Those are the kind of bee products we do over here.
So see right now, that's what they're working on. They're working on bee pollen. So if that's one of your favorite products, this is actually one of the first stages that it goes through, the granulation process. Mm-hmm. All right.
But if you have allergies, it's kind of rough. Now where we're going next is we're actually going to our compression. This is where we actually compress a lot of our products. This one is they're just not using this one because they are staging product to actually start producing on this machine. But I think we have 7 different rooms. This one here, what she's doing is she's actually doing women's. If you look at the sign here, the sign shows what she's running and how many she's going to meet before the end of her shift. So this machine on her shift will put out 500,000 tablets.
Wow. 500,000 women's vitalized tablets.
Yes. And what happens is we have the blue drum full of powder. He's going to show you, he's going to give you a sample.
Oh, awesome.
What we do is we take that powder, we introduce it into the hopper, and it goes down, and there's nothing but pressure that creates that tablet. It goes down into the hopper, and we have punches. And I think we have a machine in one of the next rooms where you will actually see the machine apart, so I can explain to you what the punches are. It actually compresses it down with so much force, it actually creates a tablet. What this square box does is it knocks off that. It's so much pressure that it leaves a flake around the tablet itself, so that knocks off. We call that the deduster. That knocks off the excess flake around the tablet to give us that nice beveled look for the tablet. We actually have a real beehive.
Oh.
Yeah, this is actually a real beehive here. This is exactly like one of the ones we actually have out in the field. Oh. Right here, this is a piece of equipment that we do not use anymore. This is the BB2. This piece of equipment is about, let's say about 60 years old. This is how the compression machines used to look a long time ago. So this one is pretty much decommissioned. It's more manual. Now what he's doing is he's actually setting up for calcium EU. When I was explaining to you the punches, those are the punches that's actually in that box, and he's actually setting up the punches in the machine. Now when we clean these machines, we do an excessive cleaning. We completely break this machine all the way down. Anything that comes in contact with the product has to be clean, and it has to be swabbed by quality. We swab it to make sure that there's no proteins or any microbiomes left on any of the machine equipment that comes in contact with the product. So we do very thorough cleaning. We clean the walls, the floor, the machines inside the machine. So that's what he's doing there. And he's setting up for calcium EU. This machine is actually running Kids EU. She's looking to put out 450,000 tablets for Kids EU.
Guys, if your favorite product happens to be Forever Kids, like mine might be, love this product,
Oh yes.
then you will love what's going on right now. These are actually compressing them down, right?
Yes.
And punching them out so that they make that awesome little tablet-sized shape that you can just pop in your mouth and chew up.
Thanks, Evelyn.
Love it when you walk through the halls of Forever Nutraceutical and you see all of these people that are hard at work. They all have a huge smile on their face. It is awesome to see. They love their job. They love what they're doing here, and this is really fun.
And he's actually setting up to run daily EU. Now, before he can actually start, what happens is quality will come in, and quality has to release this room. They have to come in and they have to swab certain areas of this machine. They have to check the walls. They have to check the floor. They have to. We're very keen on making sure we do not cross-contaminate. This machine is actually manufacturing MU blend. His goal is 500,000 for his shift. And as you can see, the processes are all the same. It's just various products. Thank you very much, sir. The next two rooms are offices. That is Vince. He works closely with the employees to make sure that we stay fully staffed. And this is Jeremy. Jeremy is the supervisor. He's in charge of the whole compression process and the web and blending process. Now, this is one of the most important parts. This is our packaging department. This is where they actually bottle our tablets and our soft gels. Now, I will take you through this line, and I hope you can see into the reflection of the sun. I hope you can actually see in there. But what happens here?
Really close.
What happens here is they feed the bottles into the hopper. The bottles come down. They're working on Arctic Sea right now. And as you can see, we have two hoppers. That's where they actually put the product into the hopper, and it goes across these creamers. Now, these creamers count how many soft gels go into each bottle.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but there are a lot of Arctic Sea pills coming across from that silver, what it looks like a
creamer. It's like a plate. That way, if they have to visually inspect any of the product, they can actually stand up there and visually inspect the product. And we have a counter that actually counts how many soft gels are going to each bottle.
So they're coming out and they're getting all placed inside of the bottles. Everything is, the machine counts it. It's awesome. This is super cool. All right.
And then what happens here is once that's done, this machine, we use it to place cotton in the bottles, but we don't use cotton for the soft gels. We have a metal detector. Each bottle goes through a metal detector, and it goes through a checkware. So it goes through the metal detector and a checkware first. Now, if it gets rejected, you will see these two totes. One tote is for metal detection. The other tote is for if the bottle's too heavy or if the bottle's too light. Now, what will happen if the bottle is too light or too heavy, we will reintroduce that product back into the line, because we do have a variance. We have a lower, upper and a lower threshold. So we introduce that back into the line. But if it's kicked out for metal detection, that's just waste. We do not want to risk it possibly having any type of contamination in the product. So we discard that. Now,
I don't know if you guys can see all those bottles that are coming in on the machine back there.
now it goes through the capper. And if you could see this machine right here, one thing I did not know before I actually started working at Forever was that the seal that's on the bottle, it's actually in the cap.
Oh.
And once they put the cap on, it goes to a heater and it seals it. It takes it from the cap, it seals it from the cap to the bottle itself. Once it seals it from the bottle, once it seals the cap to the bottle, then it actually applies the label to the bottle. And unfortunately, we can't see that, but I can explain it. It applies the label to the bottle, and once the label is applied to the bottle, we have inspectors on both sides of the line that actually inspects for label orientation. They inspect for expiration date and lot code. They make sure that everything is legible. Once that's done, then it goes up the conveyor system into the other room where you actually saw the robots actually packaging the bottle products.
Cool.
So that concludes your tour at Forever Nutraceutical in Phoenix.
Cool.
And I hope I answered a lot of people's questions, and
Yes,
I
this
hope
is
you get this
awesome.
video well.
Thank you, Dion. I appreciate your help. Let's turn it back around. Say thank you everyone for watching today. It was really exciting to be able to take you through our facility here in Phoenix. If you ever get the chance to head out here this way, make sure you take a tour. It's really amazing to see in person, and you won't want to miss the incredible people that are here making these products for you every day. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.